Hello, everybody. Star and Flurry coming at you today. Oh my gosh, it's been, as the young kids say, and I think I've said this before, a hot minute since I've been on here, which is just a phrase I never understood because hot minute, that sounds to me like a New York minute, very fast, but maybe not. Um, yeah. So, anyways, it's been a while. How are you doing? I hope everybody's good. Um, it's been wow. I mean, how weird is this fall been? I mean, it just like, I mean, seriously, my latest story is my fireplace is being a pill. So I've called the fireplace people last week to see if they could come out and take a look at it. Yeah, it actually blew itself out the other day. It was like, ooh, that's a gas issue. So I think I need a professional. I don't think Nancy tinkering, bringing out her little tools and an air gun and servicing my own fireplace is the right way to go. Anyways, I called him last week, late last week. It's can you come out? And the guy says, "Yeah, I can come out." Sorry, my hair. I just got my hair done, cut, which is really nice, but she curled it, but it's like now it's just dented, which is what my hair does, which is why I don't curl that often. So, anyways, apologize for the hair dents. Anyways, so I called him last week and he goes, "Yeah, let's see, let me see. I can get you in November 16th." And I kind of was like, what are you gonna do? A month away, whatever. And so I said, "Oh, okay, fine. Between 12 and 4, we'll see you on the 16th." I said, "Okay." And I even called up my calendar. I wrote it in, put it in an alert for one day ahead. And then it was like, 5 hours later. Now this may be age, but it's like 5 hours later. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm getting my hair cut on the 15th, which is next week. So what's going on here? So I went to the calendar, kind of redid the conversation in my head. I was like, no, he said the 16th. So what was I thinking? Where was my head in the moment that I was talking to on the phone? My head was in the middle of October because I seriously thought it was like weeks away that they couldn't come or until they could come, which is just whatever. Cheers. Yes, it's what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, it's happy hour for me. Anyways, oh my god. So I recorded like 4 videos in the last 4 weeks, and oh shoot, I was gonna bring my let me grab something. I was because I want to talk about this, and I don't have the I have to have it with me to do that. Um, and I've talked about all sorts of crap, and then when I get done, I look at the video, and it's just like there's something like majorly wrong. Either I just look like shit, or the lighting is terrible, which is kind of normally the case with my videos because I'm using my laptop camera until I can kind of chime into a nicer camera, and I'm not as dedicated as I should be, I suppose, to the YouTube thing. But anyways, yeah. So I've it's just been so I've just recorded these lengthy videos telling you about what I've been up to, and then realized that they were just not publishable. So there it is. Um, so then I'm going to tell all the stories again and think that I've already told them, which I have. I just haven't told them. Well, I told them to you, but then I never published it. So anybody who does YouTube, I'm sure could relate to this thing of recording, recording a lengthy video, pour your heart out, and then you look it back and you're like, oh my god, no. Like the other day, I did one. I thought I've got to empty my dishwasher. I've got to do the dishes. I don't care that my kitchen is a freaking disaster. I kind of want to talk to YouTube, so I'll bring them along. Help you say, clean up with me. So I shared my entire awful kitchen mess, and you watched it miraculously clean up in no time. I have a cool kitchen in that regard. It was just designed so well. It's designed well in that you can mess it up really fast, but you can also clean it up really fast. So that's what I love about it. But the whole time chatting away and doing this whole thing, but I kept turning around and I had the absolute worst bedhead I have ever seen in my entire life. In my life. Now, I don't normally look at the back of my head, so it's probably been that bad often. But oh my god! And I kept going. Oh, screw it. Everybody has bad head. I'm not going to worry about it. But I have the weirdest. I mean, I have one of those. It literally looks like I have a Frankenstein scar from like the just behind the crown of my head and all the way down to the base of my neck. It's just bad. And I think my mom had the same one because Dad always looked at stuff. You didn't get that from me. So, I don't know where it came from. I don't know how those things. I don't know if it's genetic or it's just the way you grow. You know what happens when you're born and how you grow and how your head grows and how your hair grows. I don't know how it works. But anyway, so it was so bad, and so I kept looking at it going, everybody has bad head. I'm not going to worry about it. But it got so distracting for me that I was finally like, I can't publish this. This is like, no, it's just it'll be distracting. I wasn't saying anything important, so it wouldn't matter really if it was distracting. But there's nothing worse than talking to somebody and having them do nothing but focus on the worst part of your being, because whatever. So today I'm coming on here because and that video was 45 minutes long and it didn't touch on tarot for a moment. So yeah, so this time I'm touching on tarot. What happened to this card? Oh, because it's the other. So I just got. Oh, I didn't even bring the thing over. Hold on, I'm back again. Okay, so I just got this in the mail, and I'm so excited. Been waiting for it for a really long time. It was supposed to. I don't know when it was supposed to come out, and it hasn't been that long. But I mean, I pre-ordered it a long time ago, so it feels like I've been waiting a long time. And then they go, "Oh, we push back, whatever." Anyways, it's called the Tarot of the Longest Dream. It's by Roberto Innocenti. Roberto, I'll leave it up here so you can see it. Roberto Innocenti. It's a little scarabeo. Llewellyn deck. Oh, and also Rachel Paul. So who's Rachel Paul? I don't know. She might be the artist. Let's see. Artwork by Roberto Innocenti. Text is by Rachel Paul and John Reset. Riesett and Rachel Paul Paul. Comes with so Lo Scarabeo has been changing their ways a little bit because this is I mean maybe Llewellyn is maybe they're slowly getting absorbed into Llewellyn, but this is a really beautiful box. Now it isn't as annoyingly large as most Llewellyn boxes are. It does have the annoying cardboard insert, which I could do without, but I know they have it there so that they can fit the book in there. So I get that. I'm really not complaining. I'm just kind of saying what's going on here. Magnetic box. This is not a walkthrough, so I'm not going to read everything and go through all of that stuff. But I'm going to acquaint you with this deck because everybody needs to have this deck. There it is, just there. I said it. So it's called the Tarot of the Longest Dream. It has an incredible guidebook, and I always say I don't care about the full color, but all the images are exactly. I think they're the card size. Yeah, they're exactly they're exactly the card size in the book. So it's not like it's giving you any more detailed information than you're going to get on the card. But the it has some spreads at the beginning. It has really good descriptions. And also symbolic cluage, kind of, talking about what's on the card and why, which is I so appreciate. It's really cool. And what's also really cool is they're including kind of the original over here, the original sketch before the final one. So that's kind of cool to look at too. It reminds me of Jamie Sawyer's. I can't remember, but she put out uh, a double deck that had the initial sketches and then the actual cards, which is really cool, which I have. I'm gonna dig that out and revisit it. But anyways, so I just thought this was really cool. So it's a Lo Scarabeo. Oh, and they in the back they have all. Oh no, is it all the cards? Not all of them, I guess, but a lot of them. The back few pages are enlarged versions of the initial sketches. Pretty cool. So the entire booklet is. Does it even have? Okay, so that looked like a snowman. Sorry, I wonder what that was. Sorry, as I scroll through the pages here. Okay, so it looks like it has a 175 plus, pardon me, plus pages. So the thing is that some of the faces are kind of weird, but I don't mind it. I for whatever reason, they're just really cool. So let me briefly show you a little bit of it. So these are the backs. Sorry about the reflection. So it's a shiny, but not super shiny, but it is a shiny stock, as you can see. So those are the backs with the setting sun. And what's really cool is the setting sun. It's like the picture has been broken up. It's like, well, it's called the longest dream because the sunset is still rippling in the waters of these squares below it. It's pretty cool. So, and these are totally out of order. Did I leave? I did. Okay, so I'm going to leave those cards out. So I'll show you in a minute because I did a real quick deck interview with it along the way. So here's just a sample. Oh, God, I'm always struggling with this. So I'm going to put them crooked so you can not deal with the reflection of the cards. That's a problem when you have a computer. You get that kind of reflection, or the shinier cards. Anyways, but just to give you an idea of the artwork. Page of Cups. Isn't she beautiful? God, I love it down. Two of Wands. And I wish I had the Three of Wands here because Three of Wands is really cool. This one was scary. The Knight of Wands with the castle on fire in the back. It's like, oh dear. Oh dear, what have I done? Seven of Cups. All sorts of interesting things in those cups. Four of Swords. Where the guy doesn't look totally dead because it's like he's looking at his hands, which I appreciate because that's one thing I hate about the Four of Swords. It's kind of like the stabbed heart in the Three of Swords and the dead guy on the Four of Swords. I really appreciate that they don't look dead because I don't think it's about being dead. Page of Swords. So I've got a lot of the swords here. Eight of Swords. Seven of Swords. Most of the swords cards, not all, but many of them are very wintry. Love it. I do tend to judge a deck by its Eight of Cups, and I think this Eight of Cups is stunning. Look at this Ace of Swords. Oh my God. Oh, I love it. Oh, the crown with, oh my God. So I kind of want to, I love this too. I always struggle kind of with the Five of Wands card, and I love this depiction. It's a bunch of people around a campfire. Obviously, they've been having a good time, and all of a sudden, something rises up. So it's just, people being people. Anyways, people being annoying and frustrating. What was the one I wanted to show you? Ace. Here's the aces are just spectacular. This deck, they're just really, really lovely. I have not worked with this deck at all. God, the moon, stunning. Look at that. Oh my God, beautiful. Oh, I just love the artwork in this deck. Three of Swords is very nice. It's got the heart, but I was watching Don Michelle on her live today, and she was talking about another deck. I can't. What was it called? The Tabletop Tarot. And she was their Three of Swords had the standard Three of Swords above, but they also had some imagery in the back, which she appreciated, and I appreciate that as well. It's not the heart is at the sole focus of the card, which is kind of nice. I love the star. I mean, really, I just think they've done here's another wand. Oh, I mean, another one, another ace. Look at that. I mean, ace of wands, but kind of stormy in the back. Do you see that? Right, right here. Ooh, kind of giving me Wizard of Oz vibes. By the way, it shuffles like a dream. I love this Three of Wands. So in this case, it's not just gazing on the ships, but they actually feel like they're marching in her direction, ready to pick her up, on their way, which is just totally, totally cool. The Judgment card is I also think is very cool. I mean, look at all the people, a lot more people than normal, which I just think is really cool. Yeah, so, and this anxiety, anxious Nine of Swords, oh my God, beautiful. Just every single card here, Ten of Swords, is devastating. And yet there's sun on the horizon and the owl watching. There's knowledge in this, as if, not that you've learned a lesson, but that when things come to an end, you walk away knowing so much more. This card is stunning. I think that it literally is my favorite Ten of Wands ever. Um, so anyways, yeah, I love the Chariot. It's very standard. I mean, I wouldn't call this a clone. Well, I don't know. I don't know what people consider clones and not clones. But the imagery is quite different. And yet very clear. I love that. God, I love her pants. Look at those. What she got popping out of there? Is that a? Oh, it's a. Oh, it's the boat. Okay, so it's not pants. It's more like a skirt. Sorry, it's just the boat makes it, and that's a ram's head on the head of the boat. It looks like makes it. Looks like she's got. What are they called? What are those called? Um, what do you say? Calypso pants. That's not it. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Death card. So cool. Get this. A lot of things to look at in these images, and yet this one, I thought this was striking. The Ten of Wands. So I think what's cool about this is he's not struggling at all. I mean, he's kind of hanging on, and he has this incredible rocky road to go through to get to this castle here. But the castle, I don't know if you can see it, but the castle has like this winding road going up to it, and there's a volcano in the background. So this is an arduous, arduous journey, full of. This is not easy, and he's barefoot, so not easy. Although he's walking on rocks, and yet the pathway is quite clear here. So, but this part here, it's so interesting. It's this like circular drive up to the castle, and then even if you get there, you know you got a volcano going off in the background. So choose your path wisely. Proceed with caution would be in my opinion, be the name of that card. And here's another one with the volcano, Seven of Wands. So, the Five of Wands was more argumentative. This is more defending, um, defending at your peril because the volcano is on his side. So, yeah. Oh, geez. I think I'm real. And the Fool. Okay, so I'm going to show you two more cards. The Fool, which is just freaking delightful. Let me get it as close as I can. Let me see if I can get it without the reflection. And then the Hermit. And I'm in love with this Hermit card. Oh my God. Beautiful card. So, anyways, that is a brief preview of the Tarot of the Longest Dream by Robert Innocenti, Rachel Paul. I want to get the other name too. Rachel Paul and John Reset, which I spelled out earlier for you. So I did so the reason I came on here is because I wanted to share this cool interview that I did with it. So I always do a 3-card pull with any new deck. Just, I give it 7 good shuffles if I can. And this deck shuffled very beautifully. And better than almost any little Scarabeo I've dealt with in the past. So they may have changed their card stock. I don't know. I don't think so on these decks. I know Thea at Garden Goddess Tarot was talking about the change in the cardstock and the smell, which is so interesting to me. But she's so right. When she ordered the Circe Tarot, that it clearly had come from a different printer. The cardstock was different. It was more matte finished, and it had a different smell, which is really funny. And she goes, she's a little disappointed because that's the smell she loves to smell from the little Scarabeo. So when it doesn't come in, it's a disappointment. but this has but this had no, come on, computer. Um, sorry, my screen went out. You're fine. The camera stayed on, but anyways, this is great. And they've also the paper. The paper in the book is not standard Llewellyn. It's really lovely. It's a little. It feels a little thinner, which is I don't. I kind of like that. I just I. Mm. It smells wonderful. It's probably terrible for me, but nonetheless. So and again, I said it comes in this great box, which is really cool. So I highly recommend this deck. Anyway, so I did a little brief interview, which I normally do with most of the new decks that I get, just to see what they have to say. And a lot of them are just really annoying. Just we don't like you yet at all. We don't know you. What are you doing? I think I kept playing that well a couple of videos ago, complained about that. All I get is the swords. So the first card. So the first card. So the simple to me, the simple interview spread. I know there's a lot more ways to do it. And I used to do a 5 and a 7 card. One was based. Oh, I can't remember her name. She was the woman from Australia. I loved her videos so much. But she had a really good interview spread, and several others too as well. But anyways, this one is just a simple 3 card. First card is who are you? Who is the deck? Number 2 is how do you see me? Who am I to you? And number 3 is how will we work together? How will we survive? So the first card I pulled was the Ace of Pentacles, and I thought, okay, good. That's a given the fact that I normally pull the Ten of Swords in an interview or do frequently, I was very excited that the Ace of Pentacles was the thing that came up. So the deck sees itself as the Ace of Pentacles, which I think is strong and earthy and is going to give you good, solid, just good, solid advice, based grounding, which is good because I am like, So I just yay. I don't get this ever as a card, or I don't think I've ever received it as in a deck interview as the description of the deck itself. So I was very excited about that. The second card, Who Am I, was the Six of Swords. And I did a video a while back, which was talking about one of the questions. It was a VR. And one of the questions is if you had, what is a card that you resonate with or who that represents you the best in your life stage right now? And I selected the Six of Swords because to me that is what I'm doing right now. And so the fact that it pegged me with this card just blew me away. So I that felt really good. And then how well will we work together? Because I can't get through an interview without some kind of major disaster card coming up. And yet I chose to look at this as really interesting because I thought, you know what? If that's what this deck does for me, then that's good. If it like in my own tarot deck, my Ten of Swords is, or my Tower card. Is that my Tower card, or was that the Ten of Swords? No, I can't remember. Maybe I'm confusing with the Ten of Swords. I think I am. Because in my tarot deck, the Ten of Swords is 2 clinking champagne glasses. Like, thank God that's over. So not this, but I still I thought, okay, this is good. I think this is good. I'm kind of excited about the Tower card being what will bind me to this deck because it's really cool. So the 3 cards. So the Ace of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and finished off with the Tower, which I thought, okay, I think we're going to have a good time. I really, really like this deck. I'm really looking forward to working with it. I think it's going to be super fun. And as I mentioned, it shuffles like a dream. Here, you can just hear it. Okay, I'll bring you down. Give you the visual because you got to get the visual. Oops, blowout. I sometimes I don't go deep enough. So it just shuffles beautifully. I cannot recommend this deck more highly at this point. Now, again, I haven't read with it much, but that's okay. I'm looking so forward to it. I can't even stand it. So the only other catch-up news I have is I have been where are we at time-wise? Okay, 20 minutes. Okay. Is I just did a major house purge. Major. And I probably have told this story before. Well, I feel like I have, but I know that I haven't posted a lot of videos. But basically, after my dad died, I had been through five. I mean, when I moved here, moving here was my fifth household of moving. And anybody who's moved knows how hard it is. It's just hard. It's stuff. It's hard. And especially if you're downsizing a parent who has passed away or parents who've died. Um, it's hard. This stuff is attached to your life, to memories, stuff that even though if they've been through several downsizing, which my parents had, the stuff they hung on to meant something to them. And that makes it really hard for you to go through and decide whether it means something to you. And is it worth keeping? And I don't know if again, I can't remember if I posted this one or not, but there's a point at which um, when the removal, kind of the not junk rooms, the donation. It was a first they donate, then they recycle, and then they trash whatever they can't donate or recycle. And he came out and he saw in one of the things that was in this pile of crap in my garage was a photograph of my dad because he was really instrumental in doing the whole Pioneer Brick Square thing in Portland. And they had just announced the brick selling in order to help pay for the square. And he was on one of the pretty standard. We had two. I don't want to call them offbeat, but there was the Oregonian, which is standard paper, and then kind of other. What's the word? It kind of indie periodicals. One is the Willamette Week. I think that's still around, and the other one was called This Week, and it was the periodical you picked up. It was free everywhere, but it told you all the bands that were playing. I mean, it listed everything. If there was something to do in the city, it was in there, and it told you who was playing what nights and all that stuff. So that's anyways, but they also had a few really big articles, and one of the ones they did was on this Pioneer Square thing. And so dad was on the cover. It was a really big deal. He's waving, his name prominently displayed. And then and my mom had cut it out and framed it, and so he'd had that for a very long time, and then I had it for a very long time because I moved here in 2018, so I'd had it for 5 years, almost to the day. What is the date? The 15th. November 18th is my move day. So I'll be celebrating 5 years on November 18th. Anyways, but I looked at this thing and I said, I love this. I love this, but I can't. Why am I keeping it? And so I put it in the pile. And so the guy, of course, he knew my name and he saw this picture. He knew that I was related in some way, be it a brother. He didn't know how old it was, but be it a brother or a father, somebody that I knew. And he picked it up and he looked at me. He was a young kid. Picks it up. He goes, "Are you sure you want to toss this?" And God bless him for asking. I'm sorry, I keep hitting my microphone. God bless him for asking. And I said, I said to him, you know what? That's my parent. That's a parent memory. That was their memory. I mean, I know what he did. I know my dad. I didn't know him that well then, because that was when I was long gone from the home and graduated and working full time in Seattle. I didn't see them that much, as many of us do in middle age. And I said I wasn't around during that much. It's just not a memory of mine that I have to keep. And he just looked at me, he goes, "Okay, I get it. Yeah, okay, I get it." And so off it went. And I feel no remorse about that. But there was a lot of stuff to go through. I mean, 5 years. I mean, so downsizing my dad was just, it was an arduous process. He had a lot of stuff. Well, him and mom had a lot of stuff, and then after she died, he didn't do any more downsizing. That was the end of that, and so we were left with it. And thank God my brother came up to help me because, oh my God. But yeah, so So I moved here, and I got to the point where the fifth household in 3 years, I couldn't decide any more about donating or recycling or trashing. And again, and my dad had just died, what, 9 months prior, or 8 months? Well, February, March, April, May, June, July, 9 months prior, and I just couldn't make those decisions. So instead of saying, yeah, toss it, or yeah, donate it, I said pack it. So we packed everything and brought it here, and there it has sat for 5 years. And so I think it finally occurred to me, it's been 5 years. It's time. It's time to go through this stuff and get rid of it, or at least get rid of a lot of it. And so that's what I did, and that's what I've been buried in for the last literally 4 weeks. I mean, the one thing is that I knew I needed a fire under my butt, because I'm not very good at doing this stuff on my on my own. I mean, if I have my own timeline, I've had 5 years. So I called the junk the essentially 1-800-GOT-JUNK in the city that I live in. It's not that, but it's similar. And made an appointment for a week later. This was a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. So I called on a Thursday for a Thursday appointment, which they were able to grant me. And so I had a week, and I literally I moved both. Well, I have a. Anyways, I moved everything out of the garage and just started piling stuff out of this storage area that I had, which I couldn't even get into basically because it was so full of crap. And moved everything there to the point where neighbors were stopping saying, "Are you moving?" And I'm like, "No, just cleaning out, believe it or not." And so they came and they hauled this stuff away and in 1 hour, it was just gone. And I will tell you that it would have been worth it to me at twice the price, because to think about hauling all this stuff, deciding between recycle and this and that, piling it all into your car and going 10,000 times to Goodwill or Habitat for Humanity, and then trying to find a way to get old furniture and this and that. Ugh, it's just a nightmare. And these guys come in and they do all the work. I mean, you do the pre work, and then they do the post work. They just loaded it up, took it all away. And it was really funny because I had to call them like the day before, and I said, "You need to send the big truck." Like, they have these little trucks that's usually adequate for most of what they're doing, but they have like a couple of big trucks. So I called. I said, "You need to send the big truck." I was talking to McKenna. She goes, "Well, and I go, "No, I'm pretty experienced at this kind of thing, and I think I need the big truck." So it was really funny because she was like, "Oh, so much different talking to women in these kind of positions than men, because most men are like, or at least in my experience is, well, we know better. I mean, yeah, I know you think you have a lot of stuff, but you don't." She knew when I said I need the big truck. She was like, "Well, for a minute," and then she said, "Okay." So they sent the big truck, and thank God. Even the guy said, "Are we sure?" They were here. They said, "Well, we brought the big truck." And I said, "Well, good." And then they looked at the pile. They both kind of went like this. They said, "Well, we're glad we brought the big truck." I said, "So am I. Otherwise, you would have been making 2 trips." So they took it all away, and it was just, I was so thankful. But it was also emotional, because this is a lot of stuff I've been hanging on to for a long time, stuff that meant something to my parents, and it's always difficult to let that kind of stuff go. But I think what you have to do, if anybody is going through this, or about to go through it, or feeling bad about going through it, and maybe getting rid of stuff that you wish you hadn't, that's a tough one. But I will tell you that you have to really ask yourself, is this a me memory, or is this a them memory? And it's not like you lose the memory, but you lose, because I'm one of these people. I attach significance to things, which is really fun in the moment, but it's really bad over time, because this stuff is just infused with the memory, and then you can't get rid of it. And then that stuff multiplies. It's like in the Harry Potter scene where he trying to get the cup out of Gringotts or whatever, and they just start multiplying. That's what it's like. You hang on to one of these things, and suddenly they're all important. And your brain just won't let you let it go, and it's just like, no, you can't function that way. You have to distinguish yourself between your loved ones and their memories. Now I'm talking about both my parents had died. I'm not talking about stealing living people's stuff and throwing it out, but not stealing. You know what I'm saying? But because that's their memories that you're starting to mess with, and so that's even if they're unable to make those decisions, I'm not sure it's up to you to make those decisions while they're living. But once they've passed, it's time. And now, granted, 5 years, 5 years before I was able to do that, and you know, and some people might say, "That's crazy. You need help." And on the other hand, that's what I needed to do to work through everything, and I did. And so by the time I was able to let this stuff go, I was able to let it go without issue. And there's a few things I was like, I'm sad to get rid of this, but especially some furniture that I dearly loved of theirs, but it just didn't belong here. I mean, the bottom line is I've been living in their living room for 5 years. I mean, I downsized. I downsized all my. I didn't have anything. I literally moved in with my dad, and they had a beautiful home and beautiful furniture and beautiful everything. And so my mom had really good taste, and so I was happily lived there. And then when I moved, I just brought their living room with me because that's all the furniture I had left, and I loved it and fine. And so I've been living in their living room for the last 5 years, and maybe in a way, that was part of the stalling on my part of getting rid of stuff because I was so comfortable in it. I mean, I've lived with this stuff for years, while I visited them and then with living with my dad. I mean, just this stuff was comfortable to me. It's what I knew and what I loved and what I cherished. But then there's a point at which you kind of say, okay, these chairs have had their life. I mean, I had chairs. I choose. You can maybe see back here. I've got a different chair now than I've had before. They had these swivel chairs from the 60s, 61. They bought those chairs in 1961. So how many is it? 64 years. That and the couch, big couch I have, still have it, but I have finally ordered a new one. But that thing is 64 years old. I mean, yay that this furniture has lasted this long, but it is threadbare. All of them. I mean, threadbare. And it was time. It was just time, and I knew it, and I was comfortable with it, and so I let it go, let it all go. So that's what I've been up to. I hope this is, I don't know. I don't know if anybody out there is going through the same thing, but boy, I get it. It's hard. It's hard. And if you're sitting on like a 1 year, 2 year threshold, just remember old Nance here. 5 years before I was able to make a dent in this stuff. But you'll know when it's time. You know, you just need to, kind of respect your own space and respect what's going on in your head and respect your memories. And when you're ready to let these memory infused items go, you'll know. And hopefully there'll be a good team around you to help you do that. So that's my advice in that. Anyways, again, Tarot of the Longest Dream. I'm really looking forward to working with it. I'll get back to you on the details. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. It's always such a treat for me to talk at you, and thank you for listening. So I hope you'll have a great day tomorrow. The holidays are just around the corner. Oh my God. And hopefully by tomorrow, my fireplace will be fixed. So I'm very excited. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. Star Flurry out.